Thank you. Sounds just like Siri. Hey, since they said recording in progress, y'all know what this is. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know exactly what we're doing. If you don't understand what is happening at this moment, then look at the title right here, okay? It says Savage Sports Podcast Fantasy Football Edition. We're going to break it down for 7 weeks. We're going to get you each position, and we're just going to rip it, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. Right now, you got Griff, and you got the Dime. And this is our time to shine. Go ahead, man. How you been?
Man, I am hanging, living life, getting ready to hit the family reunion up and celebrate my birthday. Come on now, July 4th, Sunday, turning the big 3-7. Don't forget to shout your boy out with a happy birthday. Drop the comments, shout us out, tell me happy birthday.
Hey,
on
look,
Sunday.
We can shout him out happy birthday for me because look, you ain't gonna be able to reach him on the 4th. It's not happening, okay? It's just not happening. Unless you're with him, you're not reaching him.
Early morning you can catch me. You can catch me early on till 1 or something.
So for me right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say happy birthday. I'm gonna shoot him a text anyway, just so that way he still knows it's already right there. So happy early birthday, home.
Appreciate it, homeboy.
Hey, but y'all know what we're doing, all right? It's a little bit different. Football season is kicking around. We told y'all that all the sports and everything was coming back, especially for some fantasy football. Everybody loves a little fantasy football, whether you're doing DraftKings or anything else. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all like to sit there and bet, throw in a little pool here and there. Maybe you betting 5, maybe you betting 10, maybe you're betting 120 to $300, depending on your league. But regardless of what you bet, you gotta have a little bit of strategy up in here, right? You can't just go in there just drafting whatever Yahoo or ESPN or NFL.com puts on there. You gotta do a little research. So
it pays to do your research. Trust me, winner of 2 leagues right here. Shout out to some of my Nortonians, Stacy Brothers' niece, Cody Ray Powers, that I got to take y'all's money this past year. Another league I'm in, don't even know, just a bunch of dudes from Buffalo and Florida. They friends with my boy Jack Kennedy. I'm glad I got to take y'all's money too. So you keep donating to the Dime, and I sure do appreciate that. I tell you what, the NBA basketball playoffs have had me just a little up and down. It's those dang Hawks, man. I know the game's on right now, and I'm not watching it currently because, of course, we're out here. But they have been really something, to be down and come back against the Sixers and do it again against the Bucks. And here we are again. They're down 2-1 right now. Trae Young is out, so I believe they're in trouble. Their run's probably going to come to an end. But these NBA playoffs have been kind of boring, probably because my Lakers are gone, and I'm just kind of not really into the Clippers and the Suns, although that hasn't been a pretty good series. But I'm ready to kick off this 7-week set. We got the field generals today, the big impact players of the real life. But let's go ahead and talk about the players who don't really make a damn to me so much in the fantasy world, and that's the quarterbacks. How do you like to pick your quarterbacks, bro? Because me personally, I don't really draft in fantasy. I don't draft quarterbacks too early. Are you one of those guys that'll take Mahomes or Lamar Jackson with the 5th pick overall?
But I would say it like this: as far as fantasy football goes, quarterbacks are definitely not the top of my priority list ever in any year whatsoever. As far as I played back into 2007, this is when I first started playing. QBs are not my priority. The only reason the QB would be my priority would be in a certain league, and that's when you only have when you have 2 QBs that you can start. That's the only time a QB becomes a priority. Most leagues you have a single QB, but even still at that point in time, the QB is not my priority. I'm not the NFL, so I'm not looking for somebody to necessarily lead my team. So a QB for me, they get bumped down to 3rd or 4th priority, and 3rd is possibly pushing it. It all depends on what else I got stacked on my team already. But yeah, QB, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when you say 3rd or 4th priority, I mean, you don't necessarily mean 3rd or 4th pick. Once you're
for me,
kind of done filling some things you think you need, then you make that quarterback your priority. So maybe you've got 3 or 4 wide receivers already and 2 running backs. So maybe you're thinking 7th, 8th round, something like that. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, the earliest I might take a QB would be 6th round, and that all depends on what I have on my team. Other than that, yeah, he might drop down to like round number 8. It might be round number 10, depending on what everyone else is doing. Now, if I see like, we'll put this for like instance, last year for me, I drafted Devontae Adams early, okay? He was my number one receiver. Everybody started taking running backs. After Devontae Adams, I drafted me another nice receiver to sit there and compliment him. Everybody else started taking receivers. So I went down the block and took me another running back. I had running backs, well, 3 running backs deep, 3 wide receivers deep until it got down to Aaron Rodgers at that point in time. All right. He was the first part, like one of the first times I've selected another quarterback. I took Aaron Rodgers to complement Devontae Adams. Now, would I have taken him around earlier? Sure. I would have taken him around earlier, positively, but there was still some other nice players on there that I really, really did want to. And I'm like, I could sacrifice a QB. QB is not going to make or break your team because, look, you know, we run 10-man leagues, maybe a 12-man league. There are 32 NFL teams. Why are you sweating the QB?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
that was a pretty bold statement. Some of y'all listeners out there, some of the regulars, man, tell me, you know, the fantasy football players of the world out there, tell me what y'all think about that comment. He said a quarterback doesn't necessarily make or break your fantasy football team. I don't know how much I agree with that statement. I think I kind of know where he's getting at with it, but I don't really think I agree too much with that statement. But I would love to know what y'all at home, what y'all listeners are thinking about that. The quarterback does or does not make or break your fantasy football team. Tell us what you think. But I'm going to tell you what I think about that. I don't get a quarterback in the top 10 rounds, period. Like you just now said, there are 32 teams. And this is a passing football league, with the exception of who do we think is a run-heavy team? Who do we know and who can we name that? It's just, I mean, that's just absolutely run-heavy. The Baltimore Ravens is a run-heavy team. I see the Pittsburgh Steelers being a run-heavy team. Traditionally, although you see him throwing a lot, Russell Wilson, Seattle was a run-heavy team there for a while. Tennessee, a run-heavy team there for a while. And Minnesota, another run-heavy team. Even though they got great receivers, they are a run-heavy team. Oh, is that on me? Did I get a message there?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, man.
You did.
Yeah, but this is a passing league. There are 32 teams, and quarterbacks are going to be there. You got guys who are going to be sitting down there at the bottom of the list. Guys like Carson Wentz, guys like Baker Mayfield, guys like, I mean, even though a lot of people don't like him, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. I mean, these guys throw touchdowns, 30 touchdowns. They might throw, 15 picks, 16 picks, but they're also going to give you 3,500 yards like Baker Mayfield did. Or they're going to give you 4,103 yards like Derek Carr did, 27 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Those are extra bonus points. So I will never draft a quarterback in my top 10 rounds. If I do, I must have been crazy, drinking a little too much at night, or somebody talked me into it, or whatever, because I'm not doing it. I'm going to get we're in 12-man standard leagues. I'm going to get my quarterback near the end. I'm going to get one of these guys. It doesn't take Patrick Mahomes to win your fantasy leagues. It doesn't take Lamar Jackson and drafting these guys in the first 2 rounds, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, to win your fantasy leagues. There are plenty of quarterbacks, plenty of footballs to go around in this NFL league. Stay away from the quarterbacks in the top 10 rounds. Take it from the dime, okay?
Hey, I see Miller Time up on here. Rob Miller, I see you. What up, everybody? Hey.
What up?
So yeah, basically what he's saying is we're co-signing on the same thing. When I said that the quarterback is not going to make or break your team, don't get me wrong. We sit there and discuss this from plenty of times. Now we're sitting here saying, like, on Monday night, you got 22 points. That QB may break your team, or he might make your team. You might have that nice little comeback. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it's Monday night and you got Daniel Jones on your bench and he's the only person that you got left to put in, we got some other issues.
I think a quarterback can make or break your team. I just think you need a quarterback that's going to be consistent in fantasy football. If you don't have one that's going to be consistent, I mean, you can find yourself asked out on a week. I mean, I literally have gotten negative points from a quarterback. I don't know if it was Derek Carr or Carson Wentz that did it. but one of them literally got, and it's because he threw 0 touchdowns, 4 picks, about 96 yards. It was
That's
awful.
always a Derek Carr.
Fumble or two. Yeah, it was either Derek Carr or Carson Wentz. It was just an awful day. So I mean, they made or broke that week for sure. But I do think that a quarterback can make a break. I mean, but if you have the right offense and if you draft right early, I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to kill you. I don't think it's going to crush your team by only averaging 15 or 16, 17 points if you get like a Sam Darnold or something. But I don't think you'll get Sam Darnold. There'll be plenty of quarterbacks there in a 12-man league.
So let's go ahead and break this down, all right? So here we go. QBs, all right? We already told y'all it's not going to be our first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, maybe not 7th or 8th pick, all right? It's going to be down the line, depending on what's actually happening, okay? So what's going to be happening here is we took this from Yahoo, okay? It's points pretty much that each quarterback is going to get on the whole year. It's their total max amount of points. This is how they actually rate now. So first off, I'm going to go in order, roughly the top 20, because that's normally QBs that actually get picked up by teams, unless you got those crazy people out there that literally just go out like on a wild limb and draft like 4 QBs for their team and like 2 running backs. So first off, you got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Wilson, Tannehill, Hurts, Stafford, Rodgers, Brady, Deshaun Watson, Sunshine, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence. Yes, Sunshine's his first name, not Trevor Lawrence. All right, so y'all can stay with me on this one.
Get your ass on, Sunshine.
Hey, then you got Bengals, you got Burrow up here, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, and Derek Carr. Hey, if y'all are hating on this right now, this is how Yahoo projects them to score the most fantasy points on the year as far as QBs are based. Now, we will get to y'all in a little bit on some of these other players that we think got snubbed, all right? But for me, I don't agree with this list, all right? I don't. Like the first one I can tell you right now that I really don't agree with being at least at the top of this list right here. I don't think Mahomes is the top QB. Is he battling for it? Yeah. Out of the 2 or 3 years he's played, yeah, he's battling for it, but Josh Allen brings more to the table, especially if his accuracy is getting any better, along with his scramble ability. Mahomes ain't going to scramble as much as Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to add you a couple extra points, definitely on the ground for some yards and some touchdowns. Now, the only thing I can see that Josh Allen would still be behind Mahomes is if the boy is getting bruised up and he gets a little Andrew Luck syndrome, you know what I'm saying? Then Mahomes is pretty much up there, but I still don't see him being number one. My default number one, honestly, would be Aaron Rodgers in this one. That's if he plays. But like I said, that's if he plays.
I don't know how much I agree with what you just said. I think if you're just going off stats and stuff alone, yeah, Josh Allen got the 8 touchdowns, rushing, 37 passing. His numbers are a little fabricated, and here's why. Look how many fourth quarters Mahomes got to sit out. Look at the number of minutes Mahomes didn't get to play because the Chiefs had kicked somebody's ass and went and put their dang warm-up gear on and let the second unit and third units take care of business the rest of the game. If he's allowed to play the minutes that Josh Allen was on the field, because I mean Buffalo had a lot of close, hard-fought games this year, a lot of fighting, scratching, let's make it to the playoffs, let's show our toughness, our grit. And they were, battling in a lot of those fourth quarters. So Josh Allen was in those fourth quarters. I still think Patrick Mahomes is the best. He still has Kelsey. He still has Hill. He still has Edwards-Helaire. He's got Mecole Hardman. He's got Edwards-Helaire. He's got he just added 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen to replace 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen that just left. So I expect the protection to be there. And trust me, guys, that's not a coincidence that the Chiefs did that. The Chiefs have a very good football team. The Chiefs know that they have a very good football team and possibly the best player in the NFL, possibly, I said, but they have to protect him. They need that offensive line. And they went out and got that because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the champs, exposed them in the Super Bowl. We all seen it. We all got to watch it. So that was on purpose. So Mahomes still is number one for me. I do agree that Josh Allen is in the top 5, but he is not Number two, for me, number two, I'm going to actually still give this to my man, Tom Brady. And I'm going to tell you why.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. And I'm going to tell
Tom
you,
Brady.
I'm going to tell you why. The running back crew for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did nothing but get better. They added Gio Bernard. They got Rojo coming back, which I think he's going to be a trade piece eventually. That's a lot of money they paid him. And you got Fournette, and you also got Keyshawn Vaughn, which I know he's a no-namer to a lot of people. That guy's an excellent back who can catch out of the backfield. Brady has a lot of backs he can throw to who are elusive. Number two, the receiving core, still good, still strong. AB, Mike Evans, Godwin, Scotty Miller. Come on, I keep going. Cameron Brate, tight end. Gronkowski, tight end. I'm hoping another tight end come in and fills the O.J. Howard spot. It's just the weapons for the offense is still there. Number three, the defense. I think we're going to have the best defense in the NFL again this year. I think we are going to be number one against the run. I think we'll be even better against the pass because they're more fresh. Tom Brady will have the opportunity to have the ball a lot more because of our defense. Tom Brady is still a 43-year-old quarterback who can throw for 4,700 yards and 40 touchdowns, just like he did last year. And those 12 picks, most of them were in the first half of the season, first 9 games or so. So let's be real. Let's talk about it. Tom Brady at 43 still puts up better numbers or just as good numbers as 20-some-year-old Josh Allen, 20-some-year-old Kyler Murray, 20-some-year-old Lamar Jackson. Speaking of Josh Allen, he is number 3 on my list. Number 4, I'm going to give it to Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you why. The running game is going to be solid. They're going to gain their identity back. I hope the defense can be somewhat better than what they were last year. And he has a plethora of weapons. CeeDee Lamb is going to be a problem for slot cornerbacks. Dak Prescott is going to be probably the 4th best quarterback, in my opinion, for fantasy football this year. And number 5, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there. Let's get this out just because I think this man is a freaking man. I believe Joe Burrow is going to have a top 5 fantasy quarterback year. I know that seems a little bit crazy if he can stay healthy, if he stays in there and they can protect him. He can protect that football. He knows how to find his wide receivers. I believe the Cincinnati offense will be a little bit revamped, and Joe Burrow will be a top 5 candidate.
All right, I got you. So for you, Hector, I got you right here. If you're still on here with us at the moment, I know you pushed it out there. You said, how do you think Justin Fields will do? Now, if we're going by anything but the Bears sit there and said Justin Fields is going to be the backup initially at the beginning of the season behind Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket. Justin Fields did not get signed to technically be a backup. Now, will he get the same rookie treatment that most every other quarterback gets? Of course. Most rookies that come in, there's very few that actually sit there and start. I mean, you got the Andrew Lucks, got it. You got Trevor Lawrence, he's a guaranteed starter. Then you got Cleveland, who literally drafted the QB every single year for like 10 years straight and made them the starter regardless of what they had. And you see how a bunch of those panned out. I mean, you got very few rookie QBs that come in and actually hold their own. Joe Burrow was one of those few that held his own. I mean, do I see Justin Fields starting right away? Probably not. I honestly don't. So since we already touched on him, look for him about week 6, week 8 at the latest. That's if Andy Dalton is doing Justin Fields is going to be the Tannehill for the Bears pretty much, all right? When Mariota was sitting there barely winning a game or doing a little bit here and there, and he's like, all right, look, you ain't doing enough to sit there and make us hold this lead. Justin Fields is going to get the Tannehill treatment. He's going to get thrust in there about mid-season, and then he's either going to take off or he's going to sink. And the way Justin Fields plays, watching him from his college time, hopefully it translates. If that's the case, this boy is going to fly, and Chicago will sit there and be pushing possibly for a playoff berth, if not getting it. Now, I'm not about to talk about all the playoff berth situations. That's beside the point. But that's my take on Justin Fields right now. He will start this season, but he won't start right away.
I think it's a damn shame. I think he should start right away. Andy Dalton is a fine quarterback. You know, he's in the league. He deserves it, to still be in the league. But I believe this was Justin Fields' team when they drafted him. I believe they traded up to get Justin Fields for a reason. I think to start Dalton, if he gets hot and if he starts off 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, I mean, you have to stick with him. You
Yeah.
know, you have to. You shouldn't pull a quarterback like that. I mean, that's just not. That's
Don't treat
not.
him like the Miami Dolphins did Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not good juju, if you ask me. But if he starts off bad, 0-4, 0-5, 1-4, 1-5, then you throw Fields into, like, I don't even say a no-win situation, but an impossible to make the playoffs. Morale's going to be down. I want him to come in when the morale's already high, when there's expectations. We know the damn defense is good. We know the defense is going to come out and play and be ready to fight every night in, night out, game in, game out. But I just think there's just I don't know. It just kind of, there's a sense that, man, these guys know that Justin Fields should be starting. And I think just knowing that the Red Rider's coming through, and it doesn't have the same pop, opening day, Soldier Field or wherever they're playing, and Andy Dalton's the start as opposed to this fresh rookie, unproven yet very, intriguing player. I mean, he came from one of the most respected schools in NCAA history. I mean, we know that. I mean, two of them, actually, if you want to think about it. So let's give this man this opportunity. I mean, throw him to the dogs a little bit, but I don't even think it's like throwing him to the dogs. When you're ready, when you play in the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, when you play, I mean, you're not fully ready. There's obviously a different level of NFL and collegiate players, obviously, clearly. But I just feel like you're ready to be thrown in that position. Not necessarily you're ready to just take over and run the world, but you're ready to be in that position. This is what you have worked your tail off from Pop Warner or junior high or whatever, high school and collegiate on up. You're ready to be in that position. I think maybe it's just kind of deflating a little bit, maybe to the Bears and Justin Fields for him not to be starting opening day. It sure is to me, because I really want him to start.
Like Hector said, he said he should get the start, and he said if Navy wants to keep his job, he needs to start Fields.
Hey, you ain't lying.
If he wants to keep it, yes. But then at the same time, think about it like this. How many times have you seen a rookie quarterback come in and he gets busted up midway through the season because he started too early and sitting here running with his head cut off? You got RG3, you got Burrow, you got Tua, who was completely scared all last year. He didn't get busted up per se, but that boy was completely all scared. I mean,
it's the NFL. You're going to take your licks, whether it be interceptions, hard hits, bad passes, whatever. I mean, you're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows. Especially it don't matter what position you play as a rookie, you're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows. That's just the way it is. So why wait? Why prolong it? Let's get it over. Let's get them chops, licking, and get it, not wet from behind the ears anymore. And maybe you pull off the first 6 games, be 3-3, 5-1, or excuse me, not 5-1, 4-2, maybe 5-1. Who knows?
That's what preseason's for.
I mean, I get it, but it's only 10 year now, right?
True. But let's get back to this, all right? So we hitting QBs, all right? After hopefully they answer the question, we'll dig into a little bit more. We got a little stuff we're going to hit on some rookies anyway, because I got some high hopes for certain ones, certain positions anyway. But that's beside the case. In this opinion, Justin Fields, he got the snub right now. He got snubbed. But that's only because they already said Andy Dalton started. But for me, let's get like this. Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Jackson, Brady. I will technically say Joe Burrow goes on this list, and Ryan Tannehill along with Russell Wilson. These are normally your premier quarterbacks that everybody either sits there and reaches for, or everybody's like, oh, I gotta have them. Like we told you earlier in this episode, hey, look, you don't need to reach for them. I saw somebody draft Patrick Mahomes last year, and this dude finished very, very bottom of the list because he had nothing else behind Mahomes.
He sure did.
Like, so, I mean, it's not.
He took one like three or four, didn't he?
Yeah, like number 3 off the board. I'm like,
I said, whoa, more players for me, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, quarterback is nice. And these are normally the top QBs that everybody really, really wants, all right? Because they're like, oh, they produce. Now, last year, you could have threw Drew Brees in here, but now let me give you this fact. Drew Brees last year was a hit or miss, okay? He was either blowing it up or he was stinking it up, all right? Or in this case, preview for y'all, he was either balling out or he was balling out, all right? Stay tuned for that one later on. Preview for y'all, though. But, yeah, that was Drew Brees last year. Now, Mahomes, consistent. Got it. Brady, consistent. His bad game is him throwing 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, whatever. Consistent. Watson, normally if he's playing, consistent. Burrow, after he got his feet wet and actually jumped in the game, I remember watching that boy blow my Titans out for no reason whatsoever. And he was consistently doing it. Yeah, he was doing it on a regular basis. He was making good reads. He was throwing touchdown passes. He was shredding defenses just like he was doing at LSU. Who else was it? Lamar Jackson? Don't depend on that boy to throw for 200 something yards, but he might give you 150 on the passing and 150 on the running and still get you 4 TDs. He's going to be consistent. He ain't going to give you anything bad, which is why I'm saying people still sit there and reach for him because he's a running back playing quarterback, but he's technically a quarterback with running back skills. Russell Wilson, my man. Third round draft pick.
First 8-9 weeks of the season, he's the MVP. Then he disappeared.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers, always a bat. There is nothing that you can't sit there and really say about Aaron Rodgers when he has Devontae Adams on the field with him. You might as well just call a wrap. Somebody is going to be mad.
Hall of Fame, one of the best we've ever seen to do it. I mean, I always get the comparisons. He's better than Brady, and that's cool. People think that, that's fine. But I do give credit where it's due, and he is definitely one of the better quarterbacks of all time.
Now, I mean, we get it. These quarterbacks, yeah, that's what everybody sits there and says. Everybody's on them now. One of the ones that y'all are probably looking at, I'm gonna throw one on the snub list because you're probably thinking about the same thing. I don't think it's a snub in my opinion though, but Big Ben. If we're talking about Big Ben 5 years ago, yeah, he would get a snub completely. If we're talking about Big Ben last year and possibly this year, I don't really see him recovering too much, even with the receivers that he did have. Now, Najee Harris will make him more effective, which is why he gets the snub. But do I see him blowing up for his 4,500 passing yards and 40 touchdowns? No. Big Ben is done. He has this year left, but I'm not seeing Big Ben as in Big Ben winning Super Bowls. Big Ben is being a placeholder right now, in my opinion. But he still gets the snub because he's still going to get you some points. Claypool, Juju, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, he's going to get you some points, which is why I'm saying he gets a snub.
If they can run the ball, if they can find a way to run the ball and take the pressure off that older arm, Big Ben and the Steelers will be just fine. Just fine. Their defense is there. I believe their defense is there, and they'll be there again. Debris gone, who cares? Their defense will reload. They got a great head coach. I think they found their running back. If you hadn't read the news in the last couple of weeks, one of the first days of OTAs, Najee Harris got sent home from Pittsburgh Steelers training camp because he was working too hard. That is no lie. They sent his ass home because he was working too hard during OTAs. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think you got a winner, man. You got a strong young horse. Feed him the ball, give it to him, let that O-line block, fill that center position with Pouncey leaving. And I think Big Ben will be just fine. He's got the weapons. Claypool, like you said, Claypool, Juju, Johnson, Washington. They'll be fine. I see Pittsburgh making the playoffs. I see Pittsburgh probably winning the North even.
Still got to compete with Baker. And they still got Lamar Jackson. But like you said,
they've got the D for them. They have the D built for them, for those two teams, I believe.
So let me ask you this question then, Big Dog. Spend a little bit of his dime dollar. So you get up there, you're in round 9 per se, since this is pretty much our consensus whenever we're going to draft a QB. We already know some people are going to take some QBs a little bit earlier.
Round 11 for me.
All right. So we in round 11, okay? This is what you got. Mahomes is off the board.
Of course.
Prescott got off the board because somebody's a Dallas Cowboys fan always for whatever reason. He got drafted like round 4 for whatever reason. You got Wilson gone, Jackson gone, Rodgers gone, Brady gone. Somebody reached for Watson round 2 for whatever reason, thinking that they got a sleeper on their hands. And let's say Burrow's gone. Who's your next choice?
Can I have 2?
Go for it. Take 2.
If Famous is starting in New Orleans, I got Famous Jameis right there, baby. If he's not, and Taysom Hill is starting, and right there at that pick, I got Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz Number 11. All right.
In the 11th round, not number 11 pick in the 11th round.
Yeah, you take number 11 in the 11th round. All right. So, hey, there you go. Carson Wentz. Now,
Or no, Jameis first.
Jameis,
if he started,
Jameis.
Carson second.
All right. I got it. Now, for me, this is a debate that me and the Dom have either way it goes. I think Jason's going to take the starting position the first couple weeks. And if he flops and fails, like the Dom is hoping and thinking that he will do, famous Jameson. Jameis. Win some, you lose some.
Jameis wins, son. That's what he does.
Win some, you lose some. Will get the start. But why do you take Wentz over Stafford, over Lawrence, Mayfield, Carr, Hurts? Why would you take Wentz?
Well, you got a revamped quarterback who's got something to prove. You've got T.Y. Hilton in your slot. You've got Michael Pittman as an emerging receiver. You have a great, fantastic offensive line. You have an excellent running game to run behind that offensive line. And you have a defense, it's just kind of a formula like Tampa Bay's. I think Frank Reich has built a championship caliber, or, in the process of still building a championship caliber football team. He's got the running back and he's got the offensive line. He's got two running backs. I think Nyheim Hines is fantastic. Yep. If something happens to Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines can come right in there. I don't know if Marlon Mack is still there. He might have, played his way out, or they might have played their way in over him. But Marlon Mack was a good back if he could have stayed healthy while he was there. So they have one of the better defenses in the NFL, and I think Carson Wentz has the ability to put that team well over what the level Philip Rivers had to plan at. So that's why. I believe we're looking for Carson Wentz. I believe we're looking at probably a 3,800 yard season, or about 39 touchdowns. He's got Pascal is a fine receiver. Who's the tight end out there? Mo Alley Cox last year.
Yeah, he stepped up a lot. That dude is.
The team can play. They're emerging. So I look at them like I said. I look at Carson Wentz and Jameis, of course, Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill. You still got all those plethora of weapons down there in New Orleans. And Jameis is a gunslinger. That's what he does. He still has some of the most yardage thrown since 2015. Some of the most touchdowns thrown since 2015. And yes, of course, some of the most picks thrown since 2015.
I'm glad you put that one in there.
I ain't stupid, I know. But I'm saying Jameis is not a shitty quarterback. Excuse my language. He's not a shabby quarterback. A lot of people sleep on him because of his interceptions. If he gets the chance to play, this young man's going to run with it. I've made several bets with several of my friends, and I'm telling you, Jameis Winston will win him a ring before it's said and done. As the quarterback, starting quarterback.
All right. We'll see about that one. So here for me, all right. Let's see. If all of them are gone, I'm not a big Derek Carr fan because Derek Carr is normally a hit or miss, okay? So he does not go in this one for somebody to sit there and draft. He is a stash quarterback. That's all I'm going to tell you for Derek Carr. And that is on a weekly basis, literally a weekly basis, depending on who he is playing. Baker Mayfield, the dude's had the weapons since he's came into the league pretty much, and he's still got all the offensive weapons, but does he do it consistently? No, so he is not my pick. Kirk Cousins, somebody throw a rock at him. That's somebody just throw a rock at him. Knock some sense into this boy. How do you have technically three of the top receivers in the league on your team, or at least we'll say like possibly top 20 receivers per se, or at least the potential to be like top 10, and you still never win a game. So Kirk Cousins is no. You can't hear it?
Like you sound like you 80 miles away, bro.
All right. All right, so here we go. Is better? I need to reach out to somebody.
There you go. Some won't know what you did, but you came back. You came back up.
I don't know, probably something that, technology as far as it goes. So here, let me go ahead and skip past this. Tannehill, yes, he's got Derrick Henry. So like we said before, boy, he is on a running first team. Does he have Julio? Does he have AJ Brown? Yes, he's probably going to have one of the top dynamic duo teams as far as receivers goes. But he's not the person that I'm looking at right now. The person I'm looking at right now got traded from Detroit to the Los Angeles Rams. Stafford. This boy constantly threw for over 4,000 yards with the Lions. Yes, he had Megatron. Yes, he had Galladay. Yes, he had Jones. He had Ebron at times.
And yes, they played from behind for 4 quarters. Even when it was 0-0, the Lions were still playing from behind. Everybody knew that. You had to throw the ball to catch up.
Exactly. But he still made it happen. Now, you put him with the Rams, who have a defense. Detroit has never had a defense whatsoever. And Matthew Stafford gets a defense. He also gets Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, which both of them boys will blow you up at any given point in time, and give him at least a little running game, or at least a three-headed monster running game, because you got Henderson and you got Akers and Brown and Johnson and whoever else you want to throw back there, which is what they do in the first place. He's got backs of plenty, and all of them will catch out of the backfield. Stafford is the receiver that I'm drafting at round 11 when everybody else is gone, specifically because he will get you the yards. He will get you a couple of touchdowns, and he will get you at least 1 or 2 interceptions. But he will make it happen. I'll take him over the rest of them because at least he's going to be consistent about it. The downside to Stafford is if he gets hurt, that boy is gone for at least 4 to 5 weeks guaranteed every time he gets hurt. But Stafford is my late round pickup when all the rest of the quarterbacks are gone. Now, is there anybody else you want to focus on this one as far as that top 20 by Yahoo who's supposed to get any kind of ratings whatsoever? Because, I mean, for me, there was a bunch of snubs in this one. At least a good 4 or 5 snubs on this list who should possibly be up there. I'll let you kick off. Who do you want to touch on first? Besides, we already hit Big Ben, but who do you want to touch on first?
Like who I feel like should be in that top 20 list that's not in the top 20 list?
Uh-huh.
I absolutely feel that probably Big Ben needs to be. I mean, he is on that list, wasn't he? On the list I'm looking at, he's not.
No, he wasn't in that top 20. He got snubbed.
I think Big Ben should be. I think he's getting crapped on by a lot of people, because he still threw for almost 4,000 yards last year, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. 33 touchdowns. Right? No, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's still pretty good in the National Football League last time I checked. There's times that he looked sluggish. There's times that he looked old. There's times that he looked crappy. That's because at times his team looked crappy. His team looked sluggish. And his team looked old, even though they're not really definitely that old, I don't believe. But
I'll say this about Big Ben. I got to put this one in here. Look, I watched Big Ben scramble last year for one run. He looked like Forrest Gump when Jenny was telling him, "Run, Forrest, run."
Yeah. I saw Big Ben scramble about 13 years ago, and he still did the same thing. But still, he's still going to be all right, man. So I feel like he deserves to be in that top 20 list. I believe it's a shame to leave him out. And I believe a sleeper to be on that top 20 list this year is going to be Cam Newton. Another year in that system. They built some teams, some help, some defense around him. I believe Cam Newton's going to thrive in New England. That's going to be a different ball club this year.
All right. Can I take 2 on the sleeper?
Yeah.
All right, fine. So here we go. I'm subbing out Derek Carr, and I'm taking out Daniel Jones. I would take out Deshaun Watson, but I'm going to tell you exactly why, because he's got Tyrod Taylor behind him, and Watson's on his own little thing. So for those of y'all looking for one extra person to possibly pick up, Tyrod Taylor may be a good bet. When he's actually in there and he's playing, the dude does a little bit of stuff, as long as he ain't got his athletic hand trying to stab him through the heart and everything with a needle.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to get over that one, though, man. All right, but here goes my 2 sleepers. I tell you, right there, Carr is gone, Daniel Jones is gone. For me, I'm throwing in Fitzmagic. We already talked about Fields. Fields is going to have a chance, but same thing. with Jimmy G. He's either going to get hurt too, Andy Dalton. Jimmy G's going to get replaced. But that's not one. So it's Fitzmagic and Matt Ryan. Those are my two sleepers. Fitzpatrick, perennial traveling quarterback who miraculously makes a team better, even if it's for 8 or 9 games. But he makes that team better. He still threw up more passing yards than Tua did in less games. Yes, he came back and made some Hail Mary plays and got them a win over at Denver with Gaskins while getting his face fast full like he was getting hooked like a fish. Fitzpatrick is a QB. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make my spiel for him being like Hall of Fame status or anything else like that because he hasn't really, he's done work. But like I said, sometimes it takes a little bit of extra magic to get into that Hall of Fame. But him going to Washington with a defense, a good young defense, him getting scary Terry McLaurin and picking up Curtis Samuel also on the backside. And then you got two running backs that are shifty and big and Gibson. Oh my God. And I forgot the other little boy back there, man. He ain't a little boy, my fault. Little man child. Is it McKissick?
JD McKissick.
Yes. Yes. He has weapons that he hasn't had in a while. Last time he had anything that was close to him was Sammy Watkins when he got drafted, and then you got Devontae Parker down in Miami whatsoever. But Scary Terry.
He had Mike Evans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did have Mike Evans. I forgot about that for a little bit. But first time he's literally just settled in as far as the quarterback goes, besides being in Buffalo for a couple of years. And at that point in time, he had Tyrod Taylor breathing down his back the whole time, along with about 3 other rookie QBs.
Yeah.
Fitzmagic is going to be my sleeper because he's going to get you some touchdowns. And just understand the same thing that I said earlier. He's going to get you some touchdowns, and you're going to get some interceptions from him also.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Gunslinger mentality, baby.
Yes. But I think he got snubbed though off this list right here. I mean, especially if you're throwing Watson up there. This is probably based off Watson playing. Watson is probably not going to play. I mean, it's probably going to be a revolt if he plays right there. Kirk Cousins, throw 2 rocks at him.
Yeah, Fitzmagic, I believe, is going to have a fantastic. He's going to be great at in Washington, I believe. Maybe just like a step up Heineke, you know what I'm saying? Even with his 14 years or whatever on him, 15 years in the league on him, just a step up Heineke, you know, playmaker, tough nose, you know, football player. Looking forward to. I love Fitzmagic. I mean, I don't think he deserves to be in the top 20, but I love some Fitzmagic. I root for him.
Oh man, all right, that's fine. I got 5 on it. He will be in the top 20 before this year is over.
I already owe you drinks next time I see you. Let me pay my first debt off first.
All right, cool. Then we'll ask that, girl. So we got y'all with the quarterbacks as far as when to draft them. Sit there, don't reach for the QB because the QB is going to be there. Like I said, unless you got a nice receiver, you got Keenan Allen, you got Devontae Adams, or you got Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, or say AJ Brown or Julio Jones. Like unless you got that primary receiver 14, there is no need for you to reach for a QB at all. Because he will fall in your lap one way or another. And if you don't get the one that you want and you want to still clear some of these other people like Daniel Jones did get an upgrade at some of his receiver positions. Granted, they're injury-prone receivers, but healthy receivers, the boys are kind of nice. Burrow, he's going to do what he wants to go do. I got it. But you also got some of these sleeper QBs. And speaking of these sleeper QBs that people are probably sleeping on, why we call them sleepers in case some of y'all don't know, who you got on the top of your list for your sleeper?
Jalen Hurts. I believe he plays in a terrible division. I believe he has the best opportunity to take advantage of that terrible division. And if Philadelphia can somehow improve that wide receiver game, I believe that their running game can be good enough if they can figure out how to stop the pass. I think as a team, you know, they will a lot better, you know, thinking for how to stop the pass. But I think Jalen Hurts is a sleeper. I believe his ability to run the football is people sleep on that. His ability to to scramble, to make plays, to make things happen outside of the numbers, outside of the pocket, to be a year older, to have the team under his belt, for a full offseason, no COVID, no Carson Wentz. I believe this will be a changed football team. This will be a changed mentality. And Jalen Hurts, he is probably one of the hardest workers that I've heard people describe about a man, this young, and this far, this young in his career. So look at what he's been through. I mean, the adversity he's already come through, Alabama, Tua, going to Oklahoma, sitting, playing, he's been through it all. Jalen Hurts is my biggest sleeper. I think he can make Philly the NFC East winners, a playoff team, only because that they're going to win the NFC East if they can win the NFC East. I'm not saying they are. I still think the football team is the team to beat. But biggest sleeper, Jalen Hurts, rushing and passing that football. Got some new weapons coming in. Another Alabama teammate running it back with him. So it's going to be a fun year for Philly fans.
Man, let's see. I can't really argue with you about Hurts, but I got to give people someone else to sit there and go for also. After Hurts, could I say Teddy Bridgewater? I could, but I'd be lying to y'all.
You better not.
I'd be lying to y'all.
You
Don't get me wrong. I'm high on the receivers that they do have, per se. Jerry Jeudy, boys got some nasty footwork, but it don't make any difference what kind of footwork you got if you ain't going to get the ball to them. So, Bridgewater, Drew Lock, y'all can go on the slip and slide and play with the other little kids. I want to give you the New York Jets, Wilson. And I say this because he is the only quarterback they have. He's going to be on the field. He technically does not have a proven running back. He has a rookie running back, and he has some fill-in running backs. But they did make a whole bunch of moves to upgrade that offense along with the coach to sit there and coach him up. So right now, Wilson is my favorite sleeper in this sense. If I had to go anyone else besides Wilson, based on what he has a chance to work with, granted, New York Jets have not had any success with quarterbacks in years, going back since Mark Sanchez, which I'm still baffled about. He should have been a backup just like he has been for this. He should have been a backup since day one when he got in the NFL. All right, that's just how I feel about Sanchez. Just put him back there with Chase Daniels and just let him sit and gain some money for no reason. But other than that, Matt Ryan, did he get a snub? Is he your sleeper? Sure. Everybody hates on Matt Ryan, but you tell me 1 year where that boy has not thrown 4,000 yards and at least 30-some touchdowns.
Let me tell you something awesome about your boy Matt Ryan.
For sure.
He's playing in the NFC South for one. That means he got to go up against the bad boy Buccaneers twice. He going against that bad defense down in New Orleans twice. And let me tell you a little bit of stats that he's had without Julio. In the 42 games that he's played without Julio Jones, he's averaged 44 fewer yards, 0.15 fewer touchdowns, and almost 0.1 more interceptions. But it adds up to about 3 or 4 less fantasy points per game for Matt Ryan. He is a bust this season, if you ask me. Calvin Ridley, Pitts, and Russell Gage are no Julio Jones. Sorry, guys.
That's why I said sleeper.
And that's why I said bust. Bust.
True. Very, very true. Now, hey, I can't really argue with that one. We said sleepers. I know some of y'all are probably mad because we skipped some of these quarterbacks like Justin Herbert. I'm gonna
Biggest
talk him
fall
up.
off. Biggest fall off this season.
All right. Who else do we see?
I was saying Herbert's going to be the biggest fall off.
Yeah.
This season.
He'll still put up some stuff, but he still needs a running back too. The same thing with a whole bunch of these other teams. They didn't have complete set running backs. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sleeping on Echo completely, but he is not the future of them Chargers. All right. Now, did we skip Mayfield a little bit? Did we go on Cousins? Cousins need to be talked about. The only one that we really skipped, I believe we could say, would be Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray.
I
Now,
don't. Everybody knows how I feel about Kyler Murray. I just don't. I don't believe his stature is going to hold up in the NFL. I mean, it may, but I just don't personally believe it. Lamar Jackson, we did kind of miss out on his 1,000 yards. That's 100 points, his 7 touchdowns rushing, his 26 touchdown passes. But we also got to just think about their offense. You got 3 running backs who touch the ball every game, 4 if you count Lamar Jackson. It's tough. It's tough for me to count on a quarterback who's giving up the ball. I mean, and they don't even pass a whole lot. And their passing game is to their tight end, Mark Andrews, who's fantastic. I don't know. I don't think Lamar Jackson is a top 5 quarterback. Like I said, I think Mahomes, I think Brady, I think Josh Allen, I think Dak Prescott, and I do think that Joe Burrow is going to be a better statistic quarterback than Lamar Jackson this year. He's going to have a full season. Lamar Jackson is only going to throw for about 2,500 yards. So with his 1,000 yards rush, that's going to be about, 3,500 yards he's going to get. Joe Burrow's probably going to throw about 4,300, 37, 38 touchdowns. I didn't forget Lamar Jackson. He just wasn't on my top 5. He was on that top 20 list that you read. I mean, all those quarterbacks that you named were on those top 20 lists. Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, all those guys were on there. We didn't really leave them out. They just weren't on our list.
No, we didn't feel like, honestly, we didn't feel like they needed to be talked about because somebody's going to pick them up. It's a gangster. You're going to get some points from them regardless. So we're trying to give y'all a little bit of information as far as if you don't get them, what do you need to go do? If you happen to be in a position to get them, should you grab them? Yeah, but doesn't mean you reach for them. Yeah. Now, I know everybody's wondering, all right, so Joe Burrow, first round draft pick last year. Trevor Lawrence, top 20. I want to say ranked number 14th as far as it went from Yahoo as in total fantasy points they're going to be given. Now, if anybody's wanting fantasy points, I know we didn't go into it. QBs generally get like 6 points per touchdown. Normally, depending on how you set your lead, they can get an extra 1 point or 10 points, depending on what it is when they press 300 passing yards, whatever. But that's not the point. Lawrence, he's in a system to succeed in this sense because he pretty much has the same setup that he did in Clemson as far as his players goes. Is he going to sit there and shine a little bit? Yes, he will. Does he got 2 good running backs behind him? Edman has to prove himself in the NFL, but I'm saying you still got Robinson, so it really doesn't make a difference. Both of those players are the same, except Edman, I believe, is a little bit faster, though. And then you got Charter, you got Chenault, and then you got the man, Marvin Jones.
It's going to be a nice offense in Jacksonville. Can that defense stop anybody?
You mean after they trade the rest of them? After they trade the rest of them?
Yeah. And traded the D out, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So I mean, like, yeah, if we miss somebody, hey, send us a message on here. We go back and we look at all the comments. We'll hit y'all back if we miss somebody on here that y'all got any kind of questions about.
And quite frankly, if we miss somebody, I don't give a damn. This was our list. They're not on my top 5. Hell, Lamar Jackson's barely in my top 8. Okay, he's there. He's just barely there. You lucky Aaron Rodgers is old. Otherwise, he'd be up there over Lamar Jackson. You're lucky that Matt Ryan ain't got Julio no more. He'd be over Lamar Jackson. You're lucky Kyler Murray's short, or he'd be over Lamar Jackson. So forget Lamar. I'm not worried. I'm not trying to hear about Lamar Jackson. I'm not trying to hear about Baker Mayfield. They wasn't on the list. Down out of here. I'm not sorry for that.
Nope. And if y'all want somebody to stash on y'all's bench, I'm going to give you my one stash, all right? My one stash, I'm going to pick it from the New England Patriots, all right? Mac Jones to replace Cam midway through the season, the same way with Justin Fields. He's going to replace Andy Dalton. Who you got?
For a stash? I don't get stashes at quarterback.
I'm just saying.
So quickly. So I don't care about a stash at quarterback. I won't get a stash. If something happens to my quarterback, I just drop his ass and pick up one of the other 15 good ones that are still sitting in the free agency pool.
So
I won a league with Fitzmagic 2 years ago. I won a league with Fitzmagic. I just picked him up. Just picked him up in that championship round. And you know, he got me 40-some points. He threw about 5 touchdowns that game. That's Big Joe O'Grady.
Fine. So for the fans, if you got to take a stash, someone that you're sitting out there reaching out for and wait for them to come into their own? Who you got?
If I gotta take a stash, I'm taking Kareem Hunt. That's because if something happens to Nick Chubb, I got Kareem Hunt. So if I got Chubb, I'm stashing Kareem Hunt. There you go. I'm not stashing no quarterback. I'm not stashing no damn quarterback. I'm telling you, I don't care what quarterback I got. If something happens to him, if he got a bye week, I'm going to drop his sorry ass and pick up another one who's playing. Hope he's still there next week. If not, I'll pick another one of the 15 good ones that's still sitting there. It's always quarterbacks in the free agent pool. You don't need to draft early on the quarterback, period.
And this is why
don't hold on to that.
This is why I dropped how I draft. But besides me getting to that point of it right here, you got Trey Lance, and I'm gonna throw up a wild card for you because Pittsburgh technically has no backup. Dwayne Haskins. If Big Ben goes down, Dwayne Haskins will step in and be that quarterback. It will not be Mason Rudolph because Mason Rudolph's had 2 years and he still can't replace Bill. Now, back to what I was saying, when I say stash a QB, all because of what the Dom does right here, and he ain't really worried about no QBs whatsoever. If I'm down in round 8 and round number 11, and I see that the Dom has, let's say, he's got Mike Evans, and he miraculously managed to get Gronkowski, I don't even like Tom Brady. Does he get some fantasy points? Yes, he does. I will take Tom Brady, and I will have Justin Herbert on my team just so somebody else can't pick him up, all right? That's fantasy football strategy right there. If I can't have him, you can't have him.
I like stashing receivers and running backs. I don't stash QB.
Oh, I already got the QBs. I already got the receivers and running back stash. And the QB is just a little icing on top of the cake. Let me throw some sprinkles on that for you.
I don't even like sprinkles or icing.
True. So as we get down to this, wrap it up. We took a little bit of y'all's time and everything, but hey, too bad. Deal with it. Come back next week. We'll take up some more of your time.
Y'all chose to listen, and thank y'all so much. We should appreciate that.
But I'm gonna turn this one over to Dom real quick and let him start wrapping this up and introduce some stuff we got coming out.
Yeah. So, man, guys, we have been gone for a while. Life has hit us hard. That's just the way it is. We are going to come back, get you guys with some fresh new material, some fresh lineups. When I'm talking about some fresh new materials, when you guys see us on Thursdays, we're gonna hit you with some segments. We're gonna have some segments such as Walk It or Talk It. We're gonna have segments called Better Views. We're gonna have a segment called, as Stevie mentioned earlier, Ballin, Ballin, or Ballin, Bawlin, like crying. And just kind of little funny segments, man. You get to see a different side of us in the sports world. So it just kind of is what it is. We're going to be coming at you with some fire. We're going to be coming at you with some new content. We're going to be working hard on getting some new guests on this show. And I'm talking about some fire guests that everybody's going to be wanting to hear. Also, we want to do a fantasy football league, just like we did the NCAA basketball brackets. We want to do a double fantasy football league. We want to have 2 leagues. We want to have an AFC, and Mr. Griffey himself, the G-Man, will be the commissioner of the AFC. That will be one team. And we will have the NFC, and the Dom will be the commissioner of the NFC. So we're looking for 22 total people to come and join this fantasy league. Now, what we'll do is we'll have the playoffs for both conferences, AFC and NFC, weeks, I guess, 13 through 17. And the extra week that they're getting this year is going to be championship week between the 2 conferences. And the winner, of course, always going to get something smooth, coming straight from Savage Sports Podcast. Also coming for the NFC champ. So whoever is lucky enough to be on the NFC side, you will have an NFC championship plaque, NFC championship trophy. So hopefully this is something we can continue to do for years and years to come. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We will be posting rules updates. The first 22 people that holler at us, and whether it be DM, whether it be on the page, whether it be the personal phone numbers, whatever, the first 22 people that want to come join us, 2 12-man leagues, will be in, and we will let you all know as it folds out. Also, we'll be coming at you again probably next Tuesday or maybe even Wednesday to give you another fantasy focus roundup. Like you said earlier, this is a 7-week series. We started with the quarterbacks today. Next week, we're going with the all mighty, important running back position. So I really do hope you guys tune in. We will be here. My families will be here. And we sure hope that y'all tune in too. I'd like to give a couple shout outs to everybody watching back at the hometown, Norton, VA. What is up? I see y'all. We putting Virginia on the map. Y'all can see me here. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that like. Don't forget to hit that share. Also, I don't know if Stevie, he might have one more word to say. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with the just serious before I get up out of here, okay? We are ending and coming to a close on Pride Month. And I just want everybody to know, be comfortable being you. You are not in this world alone. And if you need anybody to talk to, please reach out to anybody you can. You are not alone, all right? You don't have to feel alone. Be yourself, be comfortable being you. Stay you, no matter who you are, stay you. Stay blessed, stay true, never be stressed. Peace.
Peace. I'll hit y'all up later. Stop the live stream.